he does all at once, because sometimes hao wengine watakuwa wamemjibia.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Chome from HF.
I know there are various brands, but in terms of the application also varies with the type of the brand that you have. Okay, I think maybe at more details in terms of how I think we can discuss more with the King Condom and Queen Condom.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Pauline.
Okay, thank you. Your question is very specific on post-market surveillance and what happened to the withdrawn samples for the 3rd of October of 2019. I want to, I'll take you or I'll make you understand, I'll try to help you understand the post-market surveillance aspect. And when a product is in the market, there's a market complaint, and sometimes it can be as simple as the color of the condom that has been bought is not similar, or it can be that the use, when I used a condom, it burst. That's a complaint you can file, and this is information you can do so now by a USSD. You can use your phone to communicate that complaint, or you can be on the PPB website. On the top right-hand corner, there is an aspect where you can do it. When such a complaint is received, we do investigate, and when we investigate and find out that indeed there is adulteration, counterfeiting, or the product is falsified, we withdraw it. And when we withdraw, we destroy, because it means that product cannot be used and it is not fit for use in the public arena. So those are the procedures we take. So this batch for 3rd October 2019, I did not get the batch number, but I can affirm, because I've done post-market sensitization and presentation on these, the products that are withdrawn and PPB, we do have storage facilities. Once confirmed to not be of the right quality, destruction follows right after that.
Thank you, Dr. Como.
Yeah, thank you very much, young man from Kakamega. It means you are very attentive. What I wanted to bring out of issue on quantification was for the counties to understand how much does it cost to use condoms in every county. In as much as I'm representing Homa Bay, I'm also representing the county directors of health in the 47 of them. So I was giving a national picture. So how much can every county plan for in terms of costing and in terms of the finances to be allocated? And Dr. Kemu said it very nicely, that if we understand this, then it will be able for the national government and of course even the county government to chip in whatever they can chip in as far as condom space is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And maybe to build on what Dr. Como said, Dr. Masha gave us a guideline, an easier way to just estimate 40 condoms per month, per year. So once you know your population, then it's easy to, you can use that one as a guide for budgeting purposes. There's a question asked by Dr. Chome, and I think he meant it to go to Dr. Masha, but my able team lead here has guided me to respond. And it's an issue of the whole idea about HIV infection and HIV advanced disease. We know in the 90s, when we did not have medication, beside the billboards, most of which we were threatening more than encouraging, I think is a weakness in our health sector. A lot of the communication we do is don't do this, don't do that, don't, until people are shocked. What should I do now? So the issue we're saying is that time we had a lot of communication, adverts, billboards, and so on. So the community was kept in the know, and HIV infection was a focus, and therefore prevention, use of condom and other prevention interventions was high, and therefore helped us to reduce. What has happened is that when the building is on fire, when we put off the fire and there's a small smoldering, most of the time people go away. And maybe that's what we have fallen back into. While the big fire of people dying on our hands every day, every medical ward has gone away. we're still losing approximately, I think, 50, 51 people every single day. But this information is lacking in the domain. I think the media and even us are not communicating this information in a way that would encourage the community to take up prevention as a measure. And I think this should be a joint responsibility, both by the national government, but also with the counties, but also as partners. We need to communicate and communicate better. And in a language that the young people will understand. Threats work only for us for a season, but long term, people ignore the threats and march on with their lives. So we need to improve our communication, but we want to make it consistent, and we also need to make it trendy. We want to communicate in a way that the audience, which are mainly our young people, can understand and know that this danger is still there. It's not seen, because those times we used to see people thin walking around. It's not being seen, but it's still there. Thank you.
The last one was the budget. And she said the budget of condoms was 3.6 trillion. Let me just repeat. That is a national budget. And actually the question I asked, in a national budget of 3.6 trillion or somewhere there, how comes we are not able to put our agenda and we get our 1 billion? And we did the condom issue. That's the question I threw. In that big budget where everybody is competing, are we not able to compete there and get our 1 billion? In all these budget hearing sections, in the budget making processes, do we have a voice? And that will tie into someone who talked about domestic resource mobilization. We talk as if it's theoretical. We must be down there in the county, budget hearings, budget county participation, and try to get these budgets. You compete against education, compete against sports, you compete and you put a case for condoms. And we get that one. That we require 1.1 billion, if I remember what was being presented here. We can get it. Yeah. We need to be down there mobilizing that. So the 3.6 is a country budget. And the question is, why can't we get that 1 billion? It's a very small amount, 0.00 something percent of the 3.6.
I think there was a question on, she talked about comprehensive sexual education. And the point here, I concur with her, is that the older generation, we had our uncles, and that some of us, our grandfathers and grandmothers. A grandmother will tell you as it is. What your mother will not tell you and your father will not tell you, your grandmother will tell you, your grandfather will tell you. They've seen it all. So they know where they made mistakes, and that's why grandmothers, grandparents, and grandchildren are buddies. The evil people in between there are the parents. The parents are the bad one. And try it, even with your own children. The grandmother and the granddaughter or the grandson, very close. Because those small things that we worry are not there. Now the challenge is those grandmothers, the parents, they're either gone or they're in the village. They don't have quality time that the one we used to have to be able to build a bond to a situation where they could talk to them about sexuality. Now we must find a new way that will provide the correct information consistently that both the parents and the society would trust. So if we trust our teachers to teach children all these other things, why don't we want to trust them to teach, to educate them about sexuality? And for the teachers to be able to deliver this content, they also need to have been trained, to have been educated on the same, our religious leaders. So when we hash it, it doesn't help, because people will turn to Google and peers and all sorts of people, and the things they are going to do, like I keep saying, if you don't want your children don't allow your children to be educated, they'll be trained. And there's a difference between communication of information and activity. And the training is where the teenage pregnancies are coming from. So for me, it's standard, we need to find a mechanism that we can trust as a society to transfer this information to our young people. Thank you.
All right. Now I see a couple of hands, and I know Dr. Maisha needs to leave. So Dr. Maisha, can you allow me just 2 questions, then you can respond and you leave? The 2? I'll take 2. I take 3. But you keep them short. She's about to leave, so I wanted to at least hear what, and then for us we can still stay, and then we can. So we'll take the 2 ladies at the front. I'll take this gentleman, and it seems this side there's a parliamentary issue. Hakuna balance huku. There are more ladies than gents, so I'll take these 2 ladies and the gentleman at the back. Yes, this one right here. Watu wa nyuma nitawakujia.
Good afternoon. My name is Olive Wamboe. I'm representing County 014. I am a social worker. It is interesting. She's asking the same question I asked yesterday, which was rudely ignored in a session yesterday. We had a speaker from Japaigo who was talking about the things that we do wrong when we come to programs for young people. And I think that was the answer I was looking for, something that is centered, like what young people need. So thank you for answering that. Now I've got my answer, but now I have a different question, still on programming. I'm hearing a lot, but you know the problem that new HIV infections majority comes from this side. It is these people who, someone gave them somewhere, and then I have sex with them, they don't know how to use condoms. You keep talking about teaching young people how to use condoms. If I don't know, I will ask my friend who is my age mate. Natanionyesha, juu tunaongeanga. Who will he ask this age? Please create programs that are centered on the older generation because they won't come to our sessions. Teach them how to use condoms, the proper use of condoms, because zingine zina bust. Tafadhali.
Mine is a comment and a question at the same time. Purity Mberia from Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Now this one, I'm from education sector, and so I'm a guidance and counseling coordinator in Nyandarua National Polytechnic. Since yesterday, I've learned so much. And today, I've also learned so much. And especially in this room, I'm very happy because of our panelists and the questions they have been answering is what we have been struggling to think about, but we are doing so much there because as Professor said, many people have talked, they say they focus on those areas where these activities are so high, and especially in colleges. We do not take chances. For me, before I was hearing people talk about condom, and then I asked, condom? Let them abstain. Let them abstain. And I was like that. So, but now, I know about condoms. When I started dealing with these young people and they give me stories, now I accepted and I champion the talks about condoms, starting with my institution, because I organize healthy and wellness days each term, at least 2 days. And when I organize, I involve the health sector of Nyandarua County who come, and we have 2 days. We not only talk about condoms, but it comes there. Actually, because when we talk about STIs, condom comes in. When we talk about cervical cancer, I think also that one should be noted very well and with a big magnitude, I think. And now I'm hearing people talking about youth. What about these old women? What about us? Somebody will go out there, not even going out. Actually, we hear a virus inaitwa human papilloma virus. Siyasikia mtu akiongea juu ya hiyo. We are at home, but there is somebody who is a carrier of papilloma virus. Who is these people? Men. Is it true, Daktari? And this thing, people are going with the cervical cancer. The old, the young, the middle-aged, but we are ending like this. I'm a mother who is over 50. But may I tell you, we must call a spade, not a small spoon. When you look at things, and by the way, mimi nimeokoka na Kristo ni Bwana. Listen. I'm making it faster. So, you know, people, when I looked at people, when people are talking about condoms, people fear. You fear. But I normally tell my girls, if you seriously think you can't do that sex, you can't do without it, buy the condom, carry it with your handbag. If you can't do without it, carry a condom. I have no problem with that. My boys, not boys now, they are men. In Nyandarua National Polytechnic, they come and we are so close to them. They tell me, Madam, I'm married and my wife is in Siaya, but I have a chick around. I have a girlfriend whom I can. You said that sex is a what? It's a what? It's a basic. Okay. Now that it's basic, hii kijana ako hapa Nyandarua for 4 months. Na ana transport ya kwenda nyumbani. So what do? When I have peer educators, I have also a clinic in the institution. Actually, I like today I called my CEO, clinic office, and kamuliza na condom ziko za next term because yeah, when they come, now we are the meeting next week. And when they come, even the new one, I tell them, take care. The first day, the young ladies, take care. You will meet these men here. And I have even NYS students who are trained even how to talk to these mature ladies. And they will talk to you and you will utaingia box. Now,
Priscilla.
So I must prepare. The clinic officer must be ready with the condoms there. And when they come, my peer educators are ready. They talk to the new students. They show them the positive and negative side of using the condoms. But the condoms are available. We show them. The male and the female, and they are aware. We show them those condoms.
Madam Priscilla,
we demonstrate. Excuse me.
Yes.
But now I was asking my question.
Need time.
This
was of time.
Let us include human papilloma virus in our discussion. So that
Thank you very much, sir.
Our women in the church, in the community, they are also given this knowledge.
Asante.
Because we are losing our people.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
And now I'll beg for the gentleman because of time. If you allow, I'll allow after you. I'll let because the CEO has to leave.
It's the same thing, and mine is just 2 seconds.
Okay.
She has done most of the work. My name is James Modi, University of Nairobi Health Services, HIV Prevention Program Coordinator. Is it possible that when we are doing the condom programming, to factor in more areas of high youth congregation because they are having sex anyway, with or without the condom? 93% may buy, but they buy when it's available. In the way our institutions are built, condoms can be very far away. Okay? So is it possible that when we program condom distribution, even in shortage, we make sure that these institutions do not miss to have condoms? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I apologize that we'll have to give the CEO the chance to respond. And I know I said we are going to continue this conversation after this. So, Madam CEO, if you could also give us your closing remarks as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think for the human papilloma virus, I suggest that you come for this afternoon session. That's the essence of why we brought in this conversation, because it is true what you're saying. We hear our mothers having cervical cancer, but we don't link it to the sexual issue where they got human papilloma virus when they are younger like us. That the professor here will tell you that what percentage of girls with HPV will convert by the age of 25, the cases that convert. He'll also give you those statistics just to know what is happening and why condom now is also part of this conversation. Thank you very much. I think we have been given so many responses to some of the questions. Campaigns, yes, campaigns require money. If you can imagine just bringing ourselves here, this is what we used to do at the beginning of the epidemic. Now we started doing what Dr. Kimu was asking me to do here, program budgets. And for donors, they start saying, give us the evidence. How do I know the billboard works? So the first thing, when the money started getting low, they removed the billboards. The next thing they said, community sensitization doesn't work. The next thing they said, so even for peer educators, we had to go to the extent of saying, one peer educator will reach this number of people at a cost of this. Unajua kama kitu si yako, my friend. Ukipika chakula na pesa za wenyewe utajua. So Kimuya is telling me nikingemwambia 1 billion angenipea, lakini nilimwambia haya. So the other thing is that I like the conversation personally, because I had a discussion with Treasury and I've been talking about the issue of condom, and Professor Kito asked me, Dr. Kito, yeah? Dr. Kito asked me, Chris, he gave me an appointment. I think it was about 7 a.m. 3 weeks ago. And he asked me to go with my investment case for condoms, because he had asked me to speak about condoms. And I asked these guys to and why? Because the things we have spoken about today, those are the investment cases. That is what we need to discuss. That is what we need to say about the dispensers of condoms being in places available. We cannot talk about distribution and start saying we'll put the same old style of doing business. Maybe we start thinking about proper machines to come out. That act, we need to ask ourselves, what action we do differently? Can we make them more sexier, the places that you're getting? Because old methods cannot get us there. So I invite the team here, led by Dr. Kinyanjui, please convene us in Nairobi. Let's sit down and write that 2-pager that Treasury is asking us. And then we'll give them the solution. She's promised that she'll give us the AHF solution. So we sit down together so that when you're going to get this appointment, so, and me, I don't like those things, yeah? So lazima tuende pamoja, and I have learned a lot. You said you have learned, I've learned a lot. I'm so glad that I didn't go for that appointment then before I came for this meeting. There's a young person who asked about comprehensive sexuality education. I am with you 100%, but we have to convert this conversation for young people by young people for ourselves. Because let me tell you, I have 5 girls. When I'm pushed back about comprehensive sexuality education, I know where those people are coming from. The only person who ever told me anything, I was a late adolescent mature. I never had my periods until Form 4. My best friend told me I was barren. And I believed it. And she told me to try and have sex so that I see if I am barren. You know, we have not dealt even with adolescents late maturing. Those who go to school, seeing everybody else has periods. I never had breasts. I had small little breasts. I used to put something. No, pera inaitwa nini? Yeah. And I went home one time, my sister saw my photo in school and said, kwani ulikuwa na matiti? Yeah. So what I'm just trying to bring out is that you're asking a very relevant question. But now when I'm put in the same position, I'm pushed to the corner. The only person who talked to me about sex was when I took a man to my grandmother. I didn't know what she asked him. She looked directly at his pants. Amuuliza, hii kitu iko namna gani? That is, she's asking the man I'm coming to bring home. That is the sexuality education at that point. But my grandmother died before she would continue this conversation she had started. She probably was asking me, this thing this guy has in his trouser, do you know it is harmful? You know, Do you understand what you need to do next? And that is what these young people are missing. But I want us to rethink our strategy. The discussion of sexuality education has been being done by adults. The politics of sexuality education is by adults. But for who? For adults, not for young people. So let's recreate the moment where the young people stand up and are the ones to demand, including the ones in school. So I think that is the only way we shall win this discussion. And then secondly, let's not get stuck with names. Hata tukiita jinangu, whatever name we can call it, you don't have to call it comprehensive sexuality education. Why do we fight kitu imetoka ngambo? Si tuandike yetu. So then we say, then let's get a name, hata kama ni Swahili name, but hizi ndio vitu tunafunza. Because everybody is agreeing, mali safi. Linda mali safi. And finally, I think that is most of the things that we have discussed. Budget for investing in education, I think that's something we must cost and say what, the people can tell us what is, tukiongea na nyinyi leo tumepata nini. I can tell you, do you know what people call this meeting? When I tell Adonna to fund this meeting, you know what they'll call it? Hizo vitu za NAC. This true of us. They said those are things. Because the only things they realize is to buy the prep, is to buy so hizi ni vitu. So going to the community to talk hizo ni vitu. You only can do those if you have your own money. So those are some of the conversations, and I invite you in this discussion. The members of parliament now are waking up, they are with us. So let's put the movement together and discuss these things that we're having. And I hope that this platform, the report from this platform, they have asked us to present it again, the outcome of this particular conference, and we begin the conversation there and push hard and hard. He's telling you it's not difficult to get money. I agree. But health cannot get money. Do you know why? Because money is politics. Budget, 3 trillion budget is politics. And politicians only do things that they can be seen by their people. Saving lives is not part of what people see. So when you ask a member of parliament to put money between a road and to buy a condom, he'll put it on the road. Why? He will launch it, he'll cut the ribbon, and people remember the road. But ukimwambia anunue condom yenye iliwekwa kwa dustbin, how will he come back to tell people that pesa alipigania pesa ya condom? So health people, the community must wake up and become very, kind of advocates that do not. That is how he's pushed the ARV discussion. We made sure that those members of parliament are being disturbed every day. I woke up one morning, early morning, I remember 4 a.m., to go and put in their pigeonhole when they wanted to remove access to generic drugs. We put in their pigeonhole every morning to tell them, if you dare do that, we are storming in parliament. Kanko ya, Alan, nakumbuka hizo vitu tulikuwa tunafanya. Storming around there. So we just have to reignite some passion about prevention as well as demanding for commodities. Thank you very much, and I look forward to a stronger movement than what we have now. Thank you.
Makofi kwa CEO. Lakini tufanye hiyo makofi ya kilo. Ile 1 2 3 1 2 1. Sawa? 1 2 3. Hi. Hii ni lunch kweli. I know the CEO has left, but before these people leave here, I want to make 2 concessions. Joab, please, mama tafadhali. This young man and Dr. Jonathan, tafadhali kaa kidogo tu. I know we are the guys between you and lunch. But the CEO has asked something of us. We plan the next movement, and Dr. Kijenju, umesikia hiyo sasa, lazima tupange hiyo kitu, sindio? So we want to agree here that one of the next steps is we need to reconvene, sindio? There are 2 people who have been tasked. Na hata ni watatu. Dr. Gordon tumeambiwa county lazima wakae. So I would like to start with thanking this young man standing. Please give him a round of applause. He's the one who has convened us, and if we agree, we are going to agree with the CEO, handing over to him to reconvene us. So that is the first step. Sindio? The second step is, if you allow me, the people at the back who had questions, tafadhali muziandike chini, bring them up front here, because I promise you your questions will be asked. If you had a question, kuna kakitabu, andika, tutafuatilia, we'll make sure that we get back to you. You write your contact hapo chini, tutafuatilia, because these are pertinent issues. The final thing, if you allow me, hawa watu wameongea vizuri sana. I'm going to ask them in one statement, watuambie tu kitu kimoja, as then I hand over to my very able co-moderator to close for us. So I'll start from this side. This time I'll spare Dr. Koro for a minute. So nitaanza na Kimu, aseme tu kitu kimoja alafu tutafunga. Tafadhali. Sawa sawa. Daktari.
I think for me, I just re-emphasize that if we are focused, we can get the funding we need to support our condom programming from the government budget.
And for me, for all of us who are here, is that condom saves lives, keeps families together, and allows young people to be empowered. And therefore, our call to government and government agencies is to find ways to either waive or remove the taxes that have been a big barrier for people accessing quality and cost-effective condoms. Thank you.
Thank you. The donor basket is shrinking, so we need to come to the drawing board and see how we can increase our domestic financing, both national and county governments, to ensure that we can even do local manufacturing, to ensure that all these three problems plus others, cancers that have been said, can be sorted out within the country. Thank you.
I think mine is to just reiterate that we do have regulatory pathways to ensure that quality assured, safe, and performing condoms are made available to the public from wherever they're coming from, and that PPB will continue to support, and we do answer the calls whenever there is an issue in protecting the public and ensuring that condoms are available at all times. And even after availability, we do monitor the market to continue protecting against any condoms or products that are not meeting the requirements.
Thank you. I have two things. Thing one is to say that we know the problem we have. We know what works, especially the value of the condoms, and we know how much and how the quantity of what we need, because that has been outlined in the national strategic the condom strategy. So can we just avail the resources? Because having 30 to 40% of what is required is too low. And it says UNFPA will continue supporting the national government and the ministry at large to bridge the gap, but we still need to have that domestic resources to support, to meet the needs of the people. Lastly, is to say that we've introduced to the government one of the farmers who is planting, who is ready to plant the latex equivalent raw products, raw materials to manufacture latex, which will be used for, can be used for condoms, for the male condoms, and also can be used to make the gloves. So I believe the ministry is already engaged, and we believe that under the local manufacturing agenda, that can be taken forward so that we have the local manufacturing, so that condom is not seen in the wickedness, as it were, in quotes, but it is to be seen as a life-saving commodity or a device. Otherwise, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Asanteni. So unaona mmengojea mmepata good news. Local manufacturing, which means jobs za vijana na wazee. So I want to really thank everyone. Jonathan, I asked him to stay because he's part of Dr. Okoro's team in terms of prevention and works with the US government representing CDC. So tumewasikiza pia. And as we close, I wanted to hand over to, and also recognize, as it comes to close for us, and as we clap for this gentleman as they sit, tafadhali, let me thank Dr. Marwa for coordinating and co-moderating this session. So asanteni sana. Dr. Marwa, over to you.
Asante sana. I think we are done. They've summarized the session. Thank you very much. I think with the, I don't think I need to keep people any longer.